Problem 4. A newspaper conducted a statewide survey concerning the 1998 race for state senator. Newspaper took an SRS, okay, that's a survey of 1200 registered voters and found that 620 would vote for the Republican candidate. Let P represents the portion of the registered voters. So all the registered voters is the population, okay, the set of all the registered voters in the state. So you want a 90% confidence interval for P, all right. So to find confidence interval, you need N or P hat, that is your point estimate, Q hat, confidence level, the confidence levels value, critical value, and that's your formula for the margin of error. And P hat minus E, P hat plus E is the confidence interval. So let's go over this particular example. So my population is very large. What is the population? All the registered voters in the state, but we are taking a sample of 1200 registered voters. So N is 1200. So what is the success? Success rate is for success is voting for a Republican candidate. So out of 1200, 620 would vote for the Republican candidate. So R is 620. P hat is R over N. Okay. So this is fraction 620 over 1200. Q hat is 1 minus P hat. Okay. So that is 1 minus whatever I get this. Okay. So notice I'm not even calculating yet. See, confidence level, they are asking me a 90% confidence level. So 90%, which is same as 0.90. What is the critical value for this confidence level? You refer to your table. Okay. So for 90%, the critical value is 1.645. 90%, 1.645. Critical value is 1.645. Okay. I need to find this E. Okay. So what is this? So I'm going to take 1.645. I'm going to multiply it to the square root of a fraction P hat times 1 minus P hat. So notice I'm not approximating yet at all. Okay, just writing down the expression all over N. Okay, N is 1200. So we are going to calculate all this and around P hat. So that part is P hat. So let's check. What is P hat? So I want my calculator. There you go. So let's first figure out what is P hat. It is 620 divided by 1200. 0.516667. So that those numbers, they represent P hat. So plus minus represents that E value. E is given here. So all I need is to figure out which one of these is my E, what this reduces to. So let's see. Calculate E. 1.645. I'm going to multiply to square root of a big thing. There is a numerator divided by denominator. What goes into the denominator is 1200. So that part is easy. What goes in the numerator? First is p hat. So that is 620 divided by 1200, and then times a parenthesis 1 minus 620 divided by 1200, close parenthesis, and 0.0237. So which of these? That's too far, that's one. You see, if I approximate that 37, that 7 forces me to approximate this 3 to a 4. So I would choose D. All right. The next question. A newspaper conducted a statewide survey concerning the 1998 race. Newspaper took in SRS. So again a survey, 1200, found that 620 would vote for the Republican candidate. Let P represents the proportion of registered voters who would vote. So it's the same setup as of until now. How large a sample N would you need? So now you want to estimate sample size N. How large would N be? To estimate P with a margin of error 0.01. Okay. Use a guess of point P equals. So they are giving me a guess of P to be 0.5. They are telling me margin of error is 0.01. So E is 0.01. 95% confidence. So confidence level is 95%, which is 0.95. All right. So the formula here is this. If you have a preliminary P, okay, probability of success. So I'm going to use this formula now. So we need our calculator. There you go. Okay. So P is 0.5 times 1 minus P times something power 2, and what goes inside is ZC. Where did ZC go? Oh, we haven't yet found ZC. So that is in our table for 95%. Okay, so 0.95 for 0.95, ZC is 1.96. All right. So I'm going to put in ZC there, 1.96 divided by E, 0.01. Okay, 9604 is the sample size I need. Okay, but always make sure, one thing to note, you want to make sure that N times P is greater than 5 and N times Q is greater than 5. Whatever answer you get. So let's make sure N604 times 0.5. It is big, and 1 minus 0.5, it's also big. So this is acceptable sample size. Okay, next. A radio talk show host with a large audience is interested in the proportion P of adults who think the drinking age should be lowered to 18. He asks, do you think the drinking age should be lowered to 18 in light of the fact that 18-year-olds are eligible for military service? He asks listeners to phone in and vote yes if they agree the drinking age should be lowered to 18 and no if not. Of the 100 people who phoned in, 70 answered yes. Which of the following assumptions for inference about a proportion using a confidence interval are violated? Okay, the population is at least 10 times as large as the sample. Data are an SRS from the population of interest. The sample size is large enough, so the count of failures is 15 or more. The sample size is large enough, so the count of successes and p hat is 15 or more. Which of the assumptions for inference about a proportion using a confidence interval are violated? He interviewed 100 people. So 100 times 0.7, that's fine. 0.3, so I would say this one is violated. Okay. Where is the calculator? There you go. So let's check whether this and this works. So he has 100 people of who phoned in. So n is 100 and 70 out of 100 phoned in, right? That's success rate. That's 70%, 70, which is 15 or more. So n times p hat is 15 or more. N times q hat is also 15 or more. So they are both okay. The data are an SRS from a population, from the population of interest. The data are an SRS. I think that's violated. Let's check. That's correct. Okay. So this completes section 8.3. Next videos will cover chapter 9. Until then,